The View from the Bay starts now.
Now, Election 2000 is only 5 days away, and we could all use a little refresher course on the electoral process. Our visiting professor today for Election 101 is Yahoo Web Life editor Heather Cabot. Welcome back, Heather. Good
Thank
to see
you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we're having you at just the right time now with the election being so close.
I know. It's been such an exciting and historic election year. I mean, it's been the most amazing process to watch unfold.
Yeah, and if we can believe the political forecast, there's going to be more voter participation this year than ever before in any election.
Yeah, I actually read something this week. 130 million voters they are expecting to turn out the polls, which is great for this country.
No, it's about time. Yeah, because we've always had low voter turnout, relatively low compared to other democratic countries. Well, let me ask you this: what are your readers saying they want to know more about? Well,
what we're finding this year is that people are really turning to the web for all types of information, in particular this sort of civics 101. A lot of us, you know, we don't want to admit it, but we get a little rusty over time, and the internet is this great place to find instant information. So one of the things that we found just in the last week, searches for the term, you know, what is a swing state? You know, up 282% in the last month. Searches for what is the Electoral College? Up 110% just in the last week.
Amazing.
So people want to know these things, and the nice thing is you can do a little search in the privacy of your own home, and you don't have to admit that you don't really know the answer, which is a good tip for people to know. So, yeah, you know, we are finding that people are really engaged by this election, and they're turning to the internet for answers.
That's fantastic. It's great to see that they're participating, that they're curious, and that they're trying to find answers to their questions. So what we've done today is we put together a little, let's call it a mock quiz. I mean a pop quiz, quiz. And we have got some viewer participation. So let me pose the first question in our pop quiz, and we're going to take a look at some viewer answers, and you can tell us how close they are to being correct. So the first question is, what is a swing state?
What it means to be a swing state is that it's up in the air, you're undecided, it could go Democratic or Republican.
Oh, a swing state? That's like, you know, Ohio and Iowa, those Midwestern states that us Californians don't have anything to do with.
That's one of the states which was usually Republican, which is now swinging Democrat.
The swing state is the state in which the vote could go either way.
Basically right. Yeah, I mean, these are the battleground states. These are the states where we're seeing the candidates really campaign in these last few days because they know that the votes could go either way. And usually that's because there's a large number of independent voters in that state. Also depends on the demographics of that state. A great example, I think, is Colorado, where I used to work. Denver, you have a very large liberal population in the city, but the rest of the state tends to be very conservative. And so you never know which way it's going to go.
Right, and thus we have swing state.
Exactly, and at Yahoo, one of the great features that we unveiled this year is something called the political dashboard. And what it is an interactive map where you can look at all of the states and you can see which states are the swing states, which ones are in play, and you can actually pull up a poll tracker and look at how close the polls have been in that particular state, where they are right at this moment. Right. And it's just a great tool, and it's fun.
That's amazing. Well, the second question is one that was posed recently to the Republican vice presidential candidate, caused a little bit of a stir, Sarah Palin. We're going to pose it right now, and that is, what is the vice president's job, or what is his or her role?
He's the president of the Senate. He presides over the Senate.
The vice president in the Senate breaks tie votes in an election.
The vice president does nothing in the Senate except to break a tie. Has no real power on a daily basis.
Okay, Professor Cabot.
That's pretty much true, yeah. I mean, he's the ex officio president of the Senate, and he really just casts the tie-breaking votes, or she, I should say.
Exactly.
And, you know, back to the thing about Palin, you know, one of the great sites that's out there, one of the great things that's happened in this election is all of the truth squatting that's happened. And one site that I really like is factcheck.org, where you could actually, you know, people glob onto these sound bites, and then you want to go back and find out, well, what did she really say? So you can go to a site like factcheck.org and go back and see what was really said. This is, I think, a really big tool in a campaign where we've seen a tremendous amount of negative campaigning.
Yeah, well, that's true, we have. Our final question, this is one many people are asking, what is the Electoral College?
An electoral college, it's like where you go to school to, you know, to vote.
Good question. That's a system of voting. I never remember this. Where there are electoral votes assigned to each state based on population.
Electoral college is the it's a system to elect the president. Like basically each state gets electoral votes based on the number of representatives they have and senators and by population.
On track.
Yeah, I like the first guy's answer, though. Yeah. But no, the last person's answer was very close. I mean, I think a great way to remember this on election night is think of 538 votes. That's 438 representatives in the House of Representatives and 100 senators. In the state of California, we have 55 electoral votes because we have 53 legislative districts and we have 2 senators.
Right, exactly.
And one really great resource that all Californians should know about is the California Secretary of State's website, which, in addition to giving you up-to-the-minute information on, voter registration, polling hours, etc., it actually has a pretty good description of the Electoral College in the context of California. And the last thing I would say about that site, too, is with all of these ballot propositions in California, it has a great voter guide. So if you didn't look at the one you got in the mail, that big thick thing you got in the mail, you can actually go on to the Secretary of State's website and look at the voter guide, and it gives you a very quick description of each of the ballot propositions, the pros and the cons.
These are all great resources to help all of us become better informed voters. Thank you so much, Heather. Great to see you again.
Thank you
Perhaps
so much.
Perhaps we'll see you after the election.
I hope so.
Right.
Thank you.
And now let's go to 2 people who've just come from cooking college, Janelle and Lisa.
Thanks so much, Spencer. Heather's great. She's always filled with so much information. Like Spencer just said, Lisa Quinn is here. Thank you.